All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's HubSpot user group about chatbots. Chatbots are all the rage these days, and for good reason, which we will explain during our presentation today. But I would just like to start out by doing a quick intro about TAI. Some of you who are joining us today do know who we are. You've worked with us. Some of you don't know us, though, so I would just like to make sure that you're aware of who we are, what we do, and how we can help you. I'm not sure why this weird line is here, guys. I tried to get rid of it. I don't know why it's doing that, but we do HubSpot CMS. It's not crossing it out. That is a thing. But other than overall, we have 32 years of digital transformation experience. We're a consulting company out of Chicago. This bullet list here is just a few of the things that are our specialties. Strategic planning, custom development is actually one of the things we're really good at. Training and adoption. And if you notice that last bullet point, ongoing education, that's exactly what this is all about. Our motto as a company is we listen, we personalize, we stay with you. And part of delivering on that motto for us is providing those ongoing educational experiences like the one you're attending today. So we are a Platinum HubSpot partner. We are certified in Sales Hub, Marketing Hub, Service Hub, and even though it's crossed out, HubSpot CMS. We are continuing to evaluate our potential with HubSpot and adding more capabilities to this. Sales, Marketing, and Service Hub were definitely three of the ones that made the most sense for us in the past couple of years, since we do work very in depth with those departments across the board for our other consulting work. In addition to that, as I mentioned, we do a lot of things around strategic planning, custom developing, but we also are experts in data migration and integration, which I believe some of you who might be with us today, we might have helped you integrate your HubSpot. We've been doing that for quite a while as well with our proprietary Starfish ETL solution. All right, spiel over. I know everybody hates that. I'm Deneen. I'm the Director of Marketing for Technology Advisors, Inc. And my two lovely co-hosts today will be Dana Abu-Salem, our business analyst, and Anne McDonnell-Isiku, the service channel consultant at HubSpot. I'm so really happy to have these ladies with us today to share their expertise. And what I'm going to do now is turn the floor over to Dana to take us through our agenda and get us going. But before I do, just want to mention, if anybody has questions throughout, go ahead and toss those in the chat and we will be happy to get those answered for you. All right, Dana, take it away.
Thank you, Deneen. Today, I guess where everybody's aware, we are going to be talking about chatbots. What are chatbots? What are some advantages of using chatbots? Chatbots are a huge, huge thing right now in the industry. People are utilizing it in ways that beyond our thought processes. So we are going to kind of discuss, use cases for chatbots within HubSpot. What can you really do within HubSpot? We're also going to talk about some real world examples. What is the industry around us doing? How are they utilizing? And what can we kind of adopt some of the mechanisms that they're using and adapt it to our daily organizations. And then Ms. Anna is going to show us how to create a chatbot within HubSpot. We'll discuss any HubSpot updates. And then, of course, Anine will go through our upcoming events. So first things first is just the basics. What is a chatbot? So obviously it's a program that is used to interact with customers. It's used automatically based on predefined conditions. So some chatbots do use artificial intelligence. However, the majority of chatbots are set on predefined conditions. So whether you're asking people questions, just kind of gathering basic information, just to kind of get them started, they're just predefined conditions that makes the most sense to you and your company. So how smart are chatbots? How in-depth can you go with a chatbot, especially within HubSpot? So you can send a message, you can ask questions. HubSpot allows you to book meetings directly through chatbots, which is a great feature. Obviously, we have the huge idea of capturing data that helps us eliminate that manual process for our reps to go in there and create contacts, accounts, etc. And obviously personalizing the customer experience, that's huge. We definitely want to be able to connect with our consumers at a very one-on-one basis. So chatbots will allow you to do that on a very automated way. There are also support bots, not to eliminate the supports rep job, obviously, but to definitely just to kind of gather the basics, try to see how much questions are can get answered directly through a chatbot versus directing that to a support bot right away. Then obviously we can assign records. So let's say somebody, is asking a lot of questions, we can't answer it through a chat bot, then we can definitely assign those bots to a sales rep or a support rep. So that's a great way for HubSpot to, automate those processes again. One huge question that everybody asks, what is the difference between a chatbot and a live chat? So I think there's quite a few confusion between those two. Obviously, the big idea or is the chatbot is that it mimics a human interaction versus a live chat where you're actually talking to somebody in real life, customers in real time, right? So chatbot allows you to handle conversations are handled by machines in some cases by powered AI mechanisms, why conversations are handled by human agents. So chatbots is kind of just eliminating that human interaction to the bare minimum until they need to get involved. So it's, again, eliminating that manual process in the beginning. Obviously, is a lot more cost efficient to use a chatbot. But we also want to remember that chatbots are not also used to replace humans. They're just trying to answer as many questions and get customers rolling as fast as possible prior to assigning records and transferring over to a human agent. Some things you should remember about chatbots: there's no limitations to the number of chatbots that can handle it at the same time, while a human can only answer about 3 or 4 questions at a time. So that's something that's a benefit with chatbots versus a live chat. And then best use cases for chatbots is that there's 24-hour support, instant responses, somebody on the opposite end is not sitting there waiting for a response. And then there's obviously those answers to simple questions. Live chat is most likely going to be handling more complex issues, more personalized issues, like direct order issues, personalized responses, and then obviously the answers vary of questions. And it might not be a 24-hour. Again, that's where the cost efficiency does help with the chatbots as well. So let's discuss some advantages of chatbots. What are the great things that chatbots can do for us and how that can benefit our companies? First things first, obviously consistency. We want consistency is key within any organization. We want to be consistent as possible right across the board. Starting off that chatbot with a simple, "Hey, what's your name? How can I help you? How many employees do you have in your company? Where are you located?" Things like that, that gathering that information across the board help you kind of create the consistency of what's really important to you and asking those types of questions. Obviously, it's cost effective. Again, you're eliminating that human interaction in the beginning. So that's again, not replacing, but eliminating that manual process in the beginning of just instead of paying somebody to entering that manual data, you're kind of having the chatbot do it for you. It has a convenience of it. It's 24 hours. People can contact your chatbot, whether on their phone, tablet, web browser, anything like that, easy access. And then it's little to no development costs. It is really not that complicated to create a chatbot. And the complex of it all is how in depth that you're going in with a chatbot. You can create offline chatbots, whether it's off hours, things like that. So you're never missing a lead. So chatbots are there's an endless amount of advantages of using chatbots. So some statistics around chatbots. So advantages of using chatbots while gathering information. So actually research shows about 8 out of 10 chat sessions can be resolved simply by using a chatbot. So that's huge. Think about how many times somebody's contacting your support your customer service or your support departments. How often can these questions be asked or answered directly through a chatbot? That's a huge, huge statistic right there. And then we have chatbots using lead capture. Lead capture is crucial. Chatbots increase sales by an average of 67%. So just think about that. How much, what does that really mean to us? As you can see, the top use cases of chatbots right now are lead captures within e-commerce, which makes sense. It is interesting to see that other top industries such as utilizing for lead capture, such as beauty and wellness, that's huge. Market share, we have healthcare that's utilizing chatbots as well, and even education to a certain extent. So think about all the different industries around you that are utilizing chatbots and how that's increased sales for them as well. The top 3 sales or sales use cases for using chatbots are obviously collecting information and qualifying leads. We have booking product demos, and then obviously engaging in website visitors. So as you can see through this chart share right now, chatbots are most commonly used by sales, which is not very surprising. We all know that, but it's almost like a 50-50 split between sales and support at this point. Marketing is not that far behind. People are utilizing chatbots more and more for marketing purposes as well. But this definitely shows you how competitive it is, and how other industries are utilizing, and how crucial it is to start thinking about using chatbots within your organization as well. So as you can see, we have about 41% of people utilizing sales, and then about 37 utilizing support. Sorry, Denny. And then 17% against marketing, but not that far behind. So the advantages of using chatbots within customer service, right? So chatbots speed up response times, but an average of 3 times. So that's huge. So think about, again, that we're eliminating that manual process, how fast we can get into support tickets, how fast that we can, gather as much information about a support ticket prior to transferring them to a human rep. So business leaders say that chatbots have increased their customer support satisfaction scores by 24%. That is huge. So I think the most interesting stats about the bottom is that 90% of business owners are actually experiencing quicker complaint resolutions after using chatbots. 90%, that's huge. I mean, think about how extravagant that statistic is right there. That we have not too far behind, we have 67% of worldwide consumers interact with chatbots on a day-to-day. 64% are artificial intelligence empowered agents, spend their time solving complex problems. And then 53% are service providing organizations expect to use chatbots within the next 18 months. So people are, catching on to chatbots and how the advantages and how they can benefit their organizations. Next, we're going to kind of talk about chatbots and the use cases within our sales departments, our service departments, and our marketing departments. So within our sales team, how HubSpot's chatbots can benefit us, it allows us to qualify our leads, allows us to assign leads quicker so that your sales team can begin their sales processes as quick as possible. Again, that consistency is key. The quickness, the response time, that is key. The quicker you can qualify leads, the quicker that you can, start your sales process, sell faster, right? You can easily book demos and appointments with your sales rep directly through a bot. That's huge. And then obviously eliminate the manual creation of a contact. So once you're qualifying a lead and that person is definitely a lead to you, HubSpot can gather and capture all that data and enter that into your CRM system without you ever having to do anything. So that's a huge advantage of using Chatbot within HubSpot as well. Then we have our marketing teams. Again, marketing team is, they're brand new to the game, yet they're not they're not far behind of using chatbots. They've figured out ways to use it through lead capture, obviously creating a more customer engaging experience. They can utilize chatbots to sign up visitors to upcoming events, creating offline bots so you never miss a lead. That one's huge. You can have a chatbot that's Monday through Friday from 9 to 5, and then 24 hours later, you can create an offline chatbot to, again, gather those information so you're never contacting or missing a lead that way. You can create a chatbot to add context or leads to lists. That's huge. And then obviously you can enroll them in workflows or even marketing campaigns. So that's a great way that marketing teams can utilize chatbots. Your service teams. So obviously if they're used to resolve a complaint or a problem, you can share knowledge-based articles. If you have, say, hey, how do I fix this furniture piece? You can utilize that knowledge-based article and just send them that article. They can quick read. That way you're utilizing, two different tools right then and there. And then obviously you can create and assign tickets to support reps directly from using a chatbot if the bot cannot answer those questions directly. Right now, we're going to kind of discuss real world use cases. How is the industry around us utilizing chatbots in general? So first off, we have Whole Foods. So Whole Foods took cooking to a whole new level. Users can go onto their chatbot and just utilize the jalapeno emoji, for example, and Whole Foods will pull up all the jalapeno recipes that are included in their inside database. So that's a great way. And then once you find a recipe that is interesting to you, you can add those ingredients directly to your cart and purchase it that way. So Whole Foods, took cooking to a whole new level. Really, I've used it myself. It's very, very helpful, and it's pretty awesome. We have a company called Snap Travel. They're in the travel industry. They help you assist you in booking your next vacation. They help you search for cheaper flights, cheaper hotel rates. You can even ask direct questions such as, what is the best time to travel? What are the cheaper flights? When is the flights cheapest? Or even best deals if you have no idea where you want to travel, and they kind of share the different best deals that's going on right now, and that can help you decide, where to travel next on your next vacation that way as well. So that's a great way for Snap Travel to kind of utilize bots in that industry as well. And then we have insurance. So we have a company called Insurify. They actually implemented a Facebook chatbot. It's the easiest on-the-go comparisons of the cheapest insurance around you. This one does use a little bit more artificial intelligence, but it still allows you to ask as many questions as possible. You're comparing your car insurance, and then you're making those decisions directly from there. And then they're connecting you to an agent directly from their bot once you made your decision. So that's a great way to kind of eliminate that research aspect, and you're kind of making sure that you're getting the best deal as possible at all times. And then finally, this one actually took the industry by surprise. Wells Fargo, a couple of years ago, created a virtual banking assistant. Again, it's connected to the Facebook Messenger. It is a lot more artificial powered chatbot. And then it asks you specific questions. You can ask things like, hey, how much did I spend on food last week? And it's very, very personalized questions, obviously very individualized. It's your personal banking. But this was definitely something new that Wells Fargo kind of came up with, and it's very on the go and easy. It's a virtual banking assistant without you ever having to research, how much you're spending on yourself. So it's a great way to kind of utilize that chatbot in that sense as well. So now I'm going to switch it over to Miss Anna. She's going to kind of show you how to create a chatbot within HubSpot.
Thanks so much, Dana. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Bear with me a moment. All right. Perfect. So folks should now see I am inside of my own test URL environment that I wanted to use today to just walk you through some of what you can be thinking about in terms of setting up your own chatbot environment. So when creating a chatbot, you're actually going to go right into conversations, and you will see this chat flows option here. And we are going to go up into the corner here and create chat flow. You'll notice I have a few other chats in here, and there's a section above them that says priority. We're going to come back to this after we've gone through the chatbot today, but this is important, and I do want to talk more about this in a bit. So we'll go ahead and we will create our chat flow. And the first question that you're asked is to determine where do you want to add this chat flow. So Dana gave a great example of a Facebook-based chatbot with Wells Fargo. You do have the decision as to whether you want the chatbot to live on your website, whether you want it to exist through Facebook Messenger. For simplicity's purposes today, we're going to go ahead and just host it on the website. And then, as is often the case with HubSpot, when creating a new asset or creating something within the software, you're going to see that there's lots of suggestions here of existing templates based on common use cases for chatbots that you may lean into when you're initially creating your chatbot. So instead of completely reinventing the wheel, it's good to first take a look at these and see, if this meetings bot actually accomplishes exactly what it is that I want to do. Why not use this template rather than completely build it myself? I do want to point out that the bot options that are surfaced here and suggested for you as templates are going to be based on your subscription level. So what you can do with chatbots in HubSpot will be somewhat contingent upon what HubSpot subscription you have, whether it's inclusive of something like Service Hub Pro or Service Hub Enterprise or Sales Pro or Enterprise, or Marketing Pro or Enterprise. So that's just something to be aware of if you're seeing different results surfacing here. We're going to start from scratch, however, just so that we can really see all of the options. And I do want to point out that the look and the feel of this bot in terms of the branding, the color usage, the imagery here, this can all be customized within your conversation settings in HubSpot. So you do have the opportunity to make this look more aligned with what your particular brand is and what makes sense for the color scheme for your website. So we'll go ahead and select next. You do need to have had an inbox set up within your conversations inbox to be able to create your chatbot. And you need to determine where is the messaging from this particular chatbot going to be living. So if you have multiple conversations inboxes already set up, you'll want to select from these so that it is going into the right inbox. And then you have the opportunity to also confirm what is the primary language that you're going to be using your chatbot for. All right, and now we'll hit create. And so this takes us to the building blocks for our chatbot. Before we go too far into building it, I want to draw your attention to the sections at the top here, particularly target and display. So something to be aware of when you are building a chatbot is that you can build distinct chatbots for different pages of your website. You may want to build a specific chatbot for your pricing page, for example, whereas you want a different chatbot that's going to have different intentions and likely be surfaced to a different team living on your existing customer FAQ page or something that would speak to the needs of folks who already use or own your product or service. So you have the ability to determine where the chat is going to be showing. Also very important is that you have the ability to determine to whom the chatbot should be shown. So for example, you can create filters based on list membership of a contact. If you have created gated content behind a login, you have the ability to determine whether or not exclusively logged in visitors can be able to access this content. You can even go into specifics around country of origin, the call to action that they may have clicked to have arrived there, form view. So you should be thinking about all of this in terms of when building a chatbot, what is the strategy behind it? What is the goal of the chatbot? And to whom is the chatbot looking to serve? So that the questions that you're asking are optimally going to be taking into consideration some of the filters that you might put in place in terms of when, where, and how this chatbot will be utilized. Within the display section, you also have the ability to customize things like the chat heading, the chat display behavior. Do you want it to show up right away? Do you want to wait a little bit before the chatbot shows up so that someone's been on the page longer before the chat surfaces to them? So you, again, have options based on what the intention of the chatbot is to really customize this experience for the user. And then you also have the ability to customize some of the options with regards to availability and even the creation of contacts as marketing contacts from the chatbot itself. These are all really important features and also important considerations in the decision-making process and design around your chatbot. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to these when you first go ahead and start building. Before we build out the building blocks of the chatbot itself, we're also going to go ahead and name our chatbot. So this is a very uncreative name, but we'll just do test chatbot February 17th. So the first option that you have here is your welcome message. This is the message that's going to be hovering over your bot when you first build it. You can customize this as you see fit. If got any questions, I'm happy to help. Works for your business, you can leave it there. But if you want to be more specific, especially if you have really filtered to whom the chatbot is appearing, you've got the ability to do so and to hone that language further. And then we'll go into our first bot message. And you may have noticed these building blocks look a little bit similar to the building blocks behind workflows or the automation tools in HubSpot. So if you're already familiar with this, this may look and feel quite similar to what you would have built previously in terms of this. So your first bot message here is typically going to be determining what is the path that this contact or this user should be brought down based on the options that we want to present to them. So once you have defined the intention of your bot, you also want to make sure that you're figuring out what are the options or pathways that we want to be able to take a contact down to be able to solve for them. So you can start out, again, the suggestion here is a very simple question. Hi, how can I help you today? And what I'd say here is that there's a little bit of a fine line between wanting to, use language that is human and create a comfortable experience for the user, and not trying to trick the user into thinking that they are actually chatting with a human. We've all had experiences with chatbots. I think we're all pretty aware of when we are interacting with a bot as opposed to a human. We understand what the purpose of bots are. So I would say be clear and specific about what the outcome of the use of the bot can be, and don't get caught up in trying to replicate human interaction by way of trying to trick someone into thinking that they're actually in a live chat instead. Again, specification about the purpose of how the bot can be used and what it can solve for is going to be important here. So now we can go ahead and start to put in our quick reply. So what are the options that we want to present to this particular user? So let's say learn about pricing. Another option, we're talking about a product, training, and then finally we can put in third one, other. We're disabling open responses here so that we can create a clean if-then experience based on the quick replies that they have to choose from. You'll also see you always have the ability to save this information to a HubSpot property. So if for some reason this information that you're gathering here would actually be valuable for you to live on the contact record and you've got a property set up to capture this information, you'd have the ability to do so. In this particular case, there's no value for me to keep this on the contact record as a property, so I'm not going to be saving it. But if it did, I could do so. So we're going to go ahead and add that question in. And so we have a few different options. So we want to start to build out our pathways. So I'm going to start by managing my if-then branches, and I'm going to go ahead and add an if-then branch here. So if my visitor's response is any of, and let's say, learn about pricing, I'm going to go ahead and go to a new action. And again, very similar to the experience in automation, you're going to see similar opportunities bubbling up here that you might see if you were building a workflow. And so I want to go ahead and ask a question. I want to make sure that I have the contact information for this individual before we go too far along in assigning them to sales. I want to make sure I've got the opportunity to actually create them as a contact. And so making sure that I've captured their name and their email address if it doesn't already exist in the system is going to be key. So you'll see I can easily use the template here to gather their name. And I can actually skip this action if the property already exists. So if the system has picked up the user information for this particular user, I don't need to ask them to duplicate this information for me. I can skip this action because I already have it in the system. I'm going to uncheck this box for these purposes, however. So I will go ahead and hit save. Hit save again. I'm going to keep on adding to this particular option. So let's see here. I've added save the responses to the contact name. I'm also going to go ahead and gather their email address. Again, I've got the ability to skip the action if the property already exists. And then finally, I want to send this to a team member. So they want to learn about pricing. I want to get them connected to my sales team right away. So I'm going to name this action Assign to Sales so that anyone looking at this chatbot understands what's happening here. I'm going to go ahead and assign it to a particular team. And I'll go ahead and assign it to my sales team so that if someone is online for my sales team, it will get assigned to them right away. And if not, or if it's outside of business hours or they're unassigned, then it will bubble up one of these two messages to set expectations about when they can expect to hear from the sales team. So I'll go ahead and hit save. So now I want to go back to my if-then branches here. I've already created one branch, and now I want to add another. So we talked about learn about pricing. Let's talk about training instead. So if all of these responses are true, again, I'm going to go to a new action. And instead of asking for their name and email address, which we've talked about as best practice here, I'm going to eliminate that just for simplicity's sake and instead go ahead and send a simple message. And so I have actually put together this amazing training video that lives in my HubSpot videos that I've created that are hosted by Vidyard. And so I'm going to go ahead and send this training video right over to them because I found that this training video answers about 95% of the questions that the users that I'm encountering have. And so as long as this solves for them, this will probably seriously limit the number of tickets that I may need to respond to within my support team. So I'm going to go ahead and say, here is a helpful training video. And then I can go in here and I've got this little video icon and I can actually insert a video from one of my Vidyard videos that I've recorded in the system and share this right into the chat. And this is actually a feature that rolled out this year so that this video is going to be accessible within the chat itself. They can stream it, watch it live within the chat. They don't need to open up a new link to be able to access it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And I'm just going to see if there are any other questions. And I'll say, oops, additional questions is my internal name. Any other questions? I'm going to add in some quick replies. Yes, no, save. And then based on this, I want to create another if-then branch so that if their answer is yes, I'm going to go to a new action. And again, I am going to send to a team member. But this time I'm going to assign it to my services team and hit save. And I also want to create an option if they say no. And I can just say, thanks, have a great day. You'll notice you also have the ability to add in a contact token here, add in links, so that if there's other information that you want to include here as a parting message, you've got the ability to do so and also to personalize it further. And then the final option that we want to run here is going back up to our other option, going back into manage if then branches. I've got if they wanted to learn about pricing, I've got if they wanted to learn about training, but we had an option for other. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new action, but this time I'm going to submit a ticket. I want to give someone the opportunity to basically create a ticket around this so that someone within my servicing team can follow up and respond. So again, I'm going to name the action, create a ticket. I can customize the ticket name. So I can add a contact token in here. So the ticket name will default to issue from bot chat, but then I could add in a contact token, such as the name of the contact, any other information of the contact that I have saved to their contact record. I can assign it to a specific pipeline. I can set the status, and I can ask them to put in their description so that I can make sure that this is captured in the ticket itself, as well as setting the priority of the ticket. So based on Chatbot tickets that we see coming in, we've generally found them to be low priority, something that the team can work to turn around within our standard SLA of 48 hours. And I will go ahead and hit save. Okay. So when you are building your chatbots, you can go ahead and always preview what the experience is right up here. So when you're testing this out, obviously in this case, we built a number of different branches. So I want to make sure that I built this appropriately and that it works. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pretend to be a user, and I'm going to select the first option that we talked about, which is learn about pricing. As expected, the bot is asking my name. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. It's asking for my email address. Great, that's what we expected. Oops, I put in my email address incorrectly, but that's okay. All right, and this is great. I have the expectation set that a member of the team will be in touch soon. I know that this contact record is unassigned, so I can expect to be hearing from the sales rep who is assigned to me once that internal assignment process happens. So now I want to go through and just double check the training experience. So again, as we talked about, I did not ask to gather any information about name or email address when building this out. So I did expect that the user experience would be that I would be viewing this video right away. I've got the ability to play the video directly within the chat. And then I've been surfaced this additional question as to whether or not I have any other questions. I'm going to go ahead and say no. This helped. And great, thanks. Have a great day. That was what I expected. I'll restart this and just check the last one for other. So I selected other. Awesome. And so now I'm going to describe my problem. And a ticket will be created. Again, optimally in this case, the chatbot should have gathered name and email address to make sure that the ticket itself is really robust and captures all of the information. But I did just want to quickly show you how that information can be pulled in. And then the ticket will be assigned to the appropriate pipeline in the appropriate stage and with the information that was gathered within the chatbot itself. So this is the general steps that you have in terms of building out a chatbot with multiple if-then journeys and some complexity in terms of it. As I mentioned at the beginning, I did want to go back to this front page here just to highlight something, which is that as we talked about, you can limit to whom a chatbot appears based on certain factors. So again, list membership, as well as a few other engagement metrics that you can use to determine whether or not a chatbot should appear. But what can happen is you may have 2 or 3 different chatbots that could appear on, let's say, your website pricing page. And there could be a contact who actually falls into the category of having 2 of those 3 chatbots appear to them. So what you can do here is set the priority of your chatbots. So you'll see whenever you see something like a little I in HubSpot, I always recommend hovering over. It usually means that there's more information here. You can drag and drop to reorder your chat flow so that if a visitor to your website matches more than one chat flow based on targeting settings, they're only going to see the one with the highest priority. So again, understanding what the objectives of your chat flows are, what the priorities around them, what the goals behind them, and having that really clearly defined is going to only further help you in terms of being able to set these chatbot settings overall. So that was just a quick overview of how you can go ahead and set up a chatbot in HubSpot. I hope that was helpful and inspires you to start to go in and build them out for yourselves. In addition to taking the place of live chat, I also encourage the customers that I work with to think about chatbots in the place of forms. If you rely really heavily on forms, or perhaps you're not seeing some of the form conversion that you're expecting, it may be worth testing out what the experience is like with a chatbot to see if there's a higher engagement rate there, and if you're doing a better job converting contacts on your page through the use of a bot instead. sometimes the interactions that folks have and the way the information is gathered from them just feels a little bit more human, friendly, personalized than going through the completion of a form. And with that, I will stop sharing my screen.
Sorry, guys. The little thing in Zoom that allows you to unmute yourself was hidden to me, so apologies. But Anne, thanks so much for that overview of building HubSpots and Chatbot. Anne did mention during her presentation, one of the newer features is that ability to add videos, which when she told us that the other day, I personally was very excited about. I think that's a great new feature to have. I'm very excited to put that to use for our purposes as well. And I would also just like to note, while you were talking, Anne, one thing I was thinking about was, you were saying you can set the chatbots for, different types of users, different experiences that you want them to have, different inboxes. And I have to tell you, just on a personal note, that does come in very handy for us. We're able to have 2 or 3 different chatbots going at a time. And even, for example, earlier today, I had a chat come in and it wasn't through our main technology advisor's website. It was through our other company, our sister company, and it just went right into the interface of my HubSpot chat flows. I didn't have to do anything. It was right there for me, and I could interact with that person and gather their information. And so it's just really user friendly in that sense. Leave a couple minutes here for any follow-up questions, but I will use the time as well to just mention that anytime we have one of these user groups, we will send out a follow-up email the next day with the recording and any other relevant information that may come out of the event. We do them every other month, so the next one will be in April. We will alert you to that event as it comes up. We're still working on the topic for that. So if there's something that you really want to learn about or that you find confusing in HubSpot that you need a little bit of help with, throw it on out. We're happy to accommodate any special requests for these user groups. And we will plan to continue these every other month throughout the year. So thank you so much to Dana, thank you so much to Anne, and thank you so much to you guys for joining us today. I hope that you gained some valuable insights out of the event, and we will see you in April.